And then the third component of the job, should the first two answers be no, it's incumbent upon the controller to both propose solutions to drive those policy outcomes and to work collaboratively across City Hall to produce results for Angelenos. And honestly, Janet, I think that the last of those responsibilities is the most critical. The controller's office is neither legislative nor executive. It doesn't get a vote on city council. It can't issue executive orders. In order to effectuate change, the controller must problem solve through partnership. And in my view, Angelenos today are tired of reports. They want results. And that's how I would approach this role if I'm fortunate enough to be elected.
Zachary, tell us a little bit about your platform. What would some of your priorities be as city controller?
Sure. My office would focus principally on three issue areas, Janet. The first is making LA more affordable through evaluating our affordable housing and homelessness programs. The second is delivering a high quality of life to all Angelenos through analyzing the basic city services that we provide to residents. And the third is promoting economic prosperity through identifying new and creative ways of driving revenue here in the city of Los Angeles.
Tell us what you think is lacking right now in LA. What isn't being done that should be?
Well, I think it's helpful, Janet, to kind of tick through each of those to outline in a little bit more depth how I would approach each of those priorities in office. So the first is making LA more affordable. And I think you can look no further than our homelessness crisis, which is something that affects Angelenos on an everyday basis. And it's important to start the conversation, Janet, by highlighting that homelessness is first and foremost a humanitarian crisis. It is inhumane to allow our neighbors to live on the street and to not provide the treatment services that are needed to get individuals on a path to living a healthy and self-directed life. And so my perspective and our office's perspective would be on auditing specific programs that have been in place to address the homelessness crisis, whether that's Prop HHH and Project Home Key, whether it's Measure A, and understanding where those dollars are being spent. Are there outcomes that we're setting in the first place, and how are we performing against those metrics once those are established? And in my view, when you are throwing good money after bad in the context of homelessness, Janet, what that means from a budget standpoint is we don't have sufficient funds to direct to other much needed city services that are clearly eroding all around us, which I think takes me to my second prong, which is delivering a high quality of life. Yeah, we drive down the street and you see potholes, you see broken sidewalks, you see streetlights that don't work. These are the basic infrastructural services that the city provides to its residents. And when you're wasting money on programs that are not delivering the results that Angelenos were promised, you redirect funds away from these basic city services that affect the daily quality of life of all Angelenos. And then the third component is promoting economic prosperity. We have $1 billion budget deficit in Los Angeles, Janet. And in my view, it would be both impossible and imprudent to think that you can close that gap through cutting cost alone. There are too many vulnerable communities who depend on the critical city services that Los Angeles provides. And so my perspective would be looking for new and creative ways to drive revenue for the city of Los Angeles. And we would do that in a few different ways. The first is by appointing on day one someone to the office called the Chief Revenue Officer of the City of Los Angeles. That individual's principal responsibility would be working collaboratively across city departments to, among other things, make it easier, faster, and cheaper to start a business in Los Angeles. Another example of how we would do this is looking to my background. Before I entered this race for city controller, I worked to invest in the future of our local entertainment industry. I managed two multi-billion-dollar entertainment redevelopment projects, economic development projects to modernize the soundstage stock that we have here in Los Angeles. And it's a travesty, Janet, how we have allowed Hollywood to leave Hollywood. Production has fled to lower cost geographies. And while we all see actors and directors at the Golden Globes and the Academy Awards, the real people affected by this departure of Hollywood are the thousands of Angelenos who work below the line, the crew members, the grips, the gaffers, the folks who are working good union jobs, working with their hands, making family supporting wages. These folks have been out of work for 2, 3 years, Janet. And it's incredibly difficult to see the industry that for so many years define our city be allowed to walk out the door without even a fight. And so I would look to promote these industries that make up the backbone of Los Angeles, make sure that we keep good paying jobs here in LA so that we can drive additional revenue so that folks have disposable income in their pocket to go to the movies, to take their kids to Disneyland, to shop at their local restaurant. This is essential to making sure that our city is functioning well.
Zachary, what's next in your candidacy? What are your next steps and what should we look forward to seeing?
Well, we are very rapidly entering the home stretch of this election, Janet. Ballots drop on May 4th, which in my view means that the election starts on May 4th. The last day of voting, or the day when folks can vote in person, is June 2nd. So we are to the day 70 days away from the June 2nd election. And in the race for controller, there are only two of us on the ballot. There's the incumbent and there's myself. And we are bringing a strong message of change to City Hall to upend the way that things are done in Los Angeles, to deliver a high quality of life in Los Angeles. And so what's next for us? You are going to see us traversing every corner of this city, Janet. We are going from San Pedro to the North Valley, to downtown LA, to the West Side, to South LA. We want to talk to as many Angelenos as possible to share our message of change, to invite them to join us into this campaign. Because I think, I'm a first-time candidate, Janet, and something that I'm learning very rapidly is that politics is a team sport. I cannot do this alone. The city cannot solve our problems alone. And so we need as many Angelenos as possible to join our movement, to come knock doors, to come make phone calls, to come share our message of change so that we can go to City Hall and deliver a better life for all Angelenos.
Zachary, we wish you the best of luck in all of your endeavors and in the election process. It is hard work, but very richly rewarding work that we are certain you'll be quite successful in. Tell us where we can follow your candidacy. Where can we learn more about you, your policy positions, and what you stand for?
Oh, thank you for the plug, Janet. Visit zachforcontroller.com. We're across all social media, Instagram, TikTok, YouTube, Facebook at Zach for Controller. That's our handle. Engage with our content. We're having a lot of fun highlighting areas of the city that are often overlooked and problems with our city that need a new collaborative problem-solving approach to ultimately get them on the right track and deliver that high quality of life to Angelenos. We want to make an LA that is safe, affordable, prosperous, and inclusive for all. And we'd be grateful for your support on this journey.
Zachary, it's been a pleasure having you on the business briefing. Thank you.